Hello, everyone. It's that time again. Me and some other Christians are partnering up with Gatorman Apologetics for the reading of Matthew. And my chapter will be Matthew chapter 2. So we'll get right into it. Matthew chapter 2. Now, when Jesus was born in Bethlehem of Judah, in the days of Herod the king, behold, there came wise men from the east to Jerusalem, saying, Where is he that is born King of the Jews? For we have seen his star in the east, and are come to worship him. When Herod the king had heard these things, he was troubled, and all Jerusalem with him. And when he had gathered all the chief priests and scribes of the people together, he demanded of them where Christ should be born. And they said unto him, In Bethlehem of Judah, for thus it is written by the prophet, thou, Bethlehem, in the land of Judah, art not the least among the princes of Judah, for out of thee shall come a governor that shall rule my people Israel. When he had privately called the wise men and inquired of them diligently what time the star appeared. And he sent them to Bethlehem and said, Go and search diligently for the young child. And when ye have found him, bring me word again, that I may come and worship him also. When they had heard the king, they departed, and lo, the star which they saw in the east went before them till it came and stood over where the young child was. When they saw the star, they rejoiced with exceeding great joy. And when they were come into the house, they saw the young child with Mary his mother, and fell down and worshipped him. And when they had opened their treasures, they presented unto him gifts, gold, frankincense, and myrrh. And they being warned of God in a dream that they should not return to Herod, they departed unto their country another way. And when they were departed, behold, the angel of the Lord appeared unto Joseph in a dream, saying, Arise and take the young child and his mother, and flee into Egypt, and be thou there until I bring thee word, for Herod will seek the young child to destroy him. When he arose, he took the young child and his mother by night and departed into Egypt, and was there until the death of Herod, that it might be fulfilled which was spoken of the Lord by the prophet, saying, Out of Egypt have I called my son. Then Herod, when he saw that he was mocked, and mocked of the wise men, was exceedingly wroth, and sent forth to slew all the children that were in Bethlehem, and in all the coast thereof, from 2 years old and under, according to the time which he had diligently inquired of the wise men. Then was fulfilled that which was spoken by Jeremiah the prophet, saying, In Ramah was there a voice heard, lamentations and weeping and great mourning, Rachel weeping for her child, and would not be comforted, because they are not. But when Herod was dead, behold, an angel of the Lord appeared in a dream to Joseph in Egypt, saying, Arise and take the young child and his mother, and go into the land of Israel, for they are dead which sought the young child's life. And he arose and took the young child and his mother, and came into the land of Israel. But when he heard that Ariola did reign in Judah, and I know I said that wrong, in the room of his father Herod, he was afraid to go there. Notwithstanding, being warned of God in a dream, he turned aside into the parts of Galilee, and he came and dwelt in the city called Nazareth, that it might be fulfilled which was spoken by the prophets, he shall be called a Nazarene. Okay, now let's do a little studying, and let's get into the misconceptions and the heresies in this chapter. Okay, the very first one would be three wise men. And even, let's go a little further than that, three kings. Doesn't say they're kings, and it doesn't say that there's three wise men. In fact, it doesn't give a number. Okay, where does that come from? I mean, where do they even come up with that? Well, I think it happened around 500 AD, and then it was brought back around about the 8th century, I think. I'm somewhere in there. It comes from over at Psalms, chapter 72, and the heading over that is the reign of the righteous king. Okay, it comes from, let's see, verse 10. King of Tarshish and of the isles shall bring presents, and the kings of Sheba shall offer gifts, and verse 11, and all kings shall fall down before him, all nations shall serve him. I think it does. I'm not exactly sure where it's at, but I think it's referenced again over in Isaiah or Jeremiah. I'm not sure, but it's referenced again there. And I think that's where they get that from. They were trying to line prophecy up there, but it doesn't say that. So that's a little bit. And that even falls into the heresy part of it there, because they're trying to take the focus away from Jesus and put it over onto these three kings, and they weren't kings. If anything, they were wise men. They were probably astrologists, and that's probably what they were. And I think there's even folks out there that believe that they were astrologists, and that's what they were doing. They understood the stars, and they understood that there was something about this star that it was a moving, and it shouldn't be doing that, and not the way it was doing that. More than likely, and the way I understand it, it was probably, I think they were thinking that we're being led by an angel. Okay, now the next thing, that they came to where Jesus was in, where he was born, that he was a babe in the manger. Yeah, it doesn't say that either. Okay, in verse 11 it says, and when they were come unto the house, they saw the young child with Mary and his mother, and fell down and worshipped him. And when they had opened their treasures, they presented unto him gifts, gold, frankincense, and myrrh. And I think that's really, that was spearheading that there was three, because there were three gifts. Yeah. This is, there's a lot of Christians out there that already know this and know that that's not at all how it played out. That's the TV version of it, but that's not how it played out. This is for younger Christians that don't that may not know this, and they're trying to, well, now, wait a minute. Why ain't it saying this? Because it's not in there, and that's why it's not saying it. So that's where that comes into play. And probably the fact is that the child was probably, Jesus, he was probably around 2 years old at the time whenever they come. And because it even says that Herod was looking for children around 2 and down. So, yeah, he was probably around 2, somewhere around in there. But yeah, he did. They didn't come to him in the manger. They come to the house where Joseph and Mary was at. So, and like I say, that making these 3 kings, and they try to pull that out of prophecy. Yeah, I would say Jesus was visited by those kings, and it says the kings would fall before him. That's probably not, that's, some of it maybe happened, but probably some of it hadn't happened yet. And yeah, so yeah, that it's making the wise men king, that's taken away from Jesus, who is the king, the rightful king. And that right there is a heresy in itself, taking anything away from Jesus and adding it to somebody else. So yeah, that's a heresy. It's a misconception of what's being read, and it's been taken and blown out of proportion for TV purposes, and it just led into a heresy then. And so yeah, take the word for what it says, not what the TV tells you the word says. Take the word for what it says. And yeah, so there you go. That's what's going on in Matthew chapter 2, and I hope this helps. God bless.